Alright, now we're going to go over attacking basic coverages. So now that you guys know how to read defenses pre-snap, you know how to read defenses post-snap, identifying the coverage, that's the first step. But once you identify the coverages, then it comes down to play design. So now that you guys know how to identify the coverages by reading the defenses pre and post snap, now we're going to learn how to beat those specific defenses. So, you know, again, like we learned from previous section, again, we see here that all the cornerbacks are aligned up over our receivers. So what this tells us is that he's in man coverage. So then we have to design a man beating route here, or yeah, man beating play design. So for his man press, one of the best tactics every single year of Madden for being man press is utilizing motion snapping. And what this is going to do is going to give us a free release. So let me snap the ball here. And as you guys are going to see, I'm going to get pressed at the line. And it's going to throw off our timing just a little bit. And to avoid that, we want to take advantage of the motion snaps. Not only because we get the free release, but a lot of times too we get a little speed burst. And again, we got a little speed burst there. So not only, you see how before our route got a little interrupted because it was man press, but again, you would definitely want to start utilizing motion snapping in your game first, man. Whether it's a man blitz, man coverage. Because again, not only do you get this free release, but you can see here he got like a little bit of a speed burst as well when we snapped it by the tight end. So make sure to utilize this tactic, as well as you want to get crossing routes in your game as well versus man coverage. Crossing routes are really effective every single year versus man coverage. Again, this is more specific to the Madden, but if you have that 85 medium route run, you know, it's going to help you a lot on those crossers. Again, you're going to get better cuts. But again, it's dependent on the Madden, but in general, crossers are really good versus man coverage. So what we can do is we can combine what we just learned with motion snapping, and utilize these crossing routes. So here, even though this isn't a route combo development course, yeah, we'll touch on it a little bit. But you can see here that the reason why we don't keep the slant and the crosser on the same side is because it's going to be easy for the user to lurk in between both of the routes. Whereas, you know, if you have them crossing in opposite directions, so again, right here, the user's going to have to make a decision. Does he want to run with the crosser? Or does he want to run with the slant? Since they're going in opposite directions, he's not going to be able to guard both of them. So that's why we want the slant and the crosser going in opposite directions of each other. Again, because now the user has to make a decision. If he goes with the crosser, the slant's going to be open. If he goes with the slant, the crosser's usually going to be open. And again, sometimes the man coverage can be a little inconsistent, and they can play really well on these routes. And again, even though we had a little bit of space here, we had kind of had to touch pass this. But usually, you know, if you have an elite wide receiver, and you see how on the cut, you know, he usually gets good separation. Again, you want to look for those sharp cuts. And again, sometimes the man can randomly play it, but crossers most of the times are going to get open versus man coverage. So here I'll do that again. Again, you see the slant got a little bit of a speed burst there. And again, two receivers, two elite cornerback versus elite receiver matchup. But you saw there the speed burst cut that we got here. So again, and that's why you want to look for these sharp cutting routes versus man, and why they're always consistent every single year in Madden. Because when they get those sharp cuts, when they kind of dime like that, it's going to be really hard for the man coverage defenders to keep up with them. So that's why every year in man you're going to see crossing routes being really effective, because they're really good versus man, and they get open versus zone as well. So, and again, also we're utilizing, you know, the concept we talked about again in another earlier section. Again, the tight end necessarily is not going to get the tight end's not necessarily going to be a main target on this play, but again, we're using the tight end to pull the deep zones back. Again, this tight end is pulling back that deep zone, and it's going to help open up this crosser underneath. And again, we're utilizing the motion snap underneath as well. So again, we get that free release. We don't even have to worry about the press, and we get a little bit of a speed burst here. So we're going to have two receivers that are going to be great options here versus man, and it's going to be impossible for the user to use both of them. So again, just a quick recap: motion snapping and crossing routes versus man coverage. Again, also another really effective route versus man coverage every single year are skinny post. Again, this applies to almost every single Madden. So here again, we will just put the streak to kind of clear out that deep half, to kind of pull that deep half back. And you see, we can kind of throw that skinny post on the cut. You know, since we used that pull route with the streak to kind of pull back the deep zone, we don't have to worry about that deep half. And it's going to open up the skinny post on the cut, because again, the skinny post, it gets a good, once it cuts, it gets good separation. Again, you want to look for those sharp cutting routes. And again, what we can do in this as well is we can start to utilize, again, our motion. Utilize the motion snaps to get that free release, to get that little speed burst. I see again now, so we had the underneath option and then the over the top option. So as you saw there though, the skinny post got a good deal of separation. So for his man coverage, usually first I look to the slant and crosser combination. Regardless of the Madden, that concept applies from Madden to Madden, because again, motion snapping is always effective. Crossing routes are always effective, but you know, if someone's playing really aggressive 2 out of their man coverage, I really like these skinny posts as well. Again, you saw the motion snap. We got a little speed burst on the cut, got that free release, so we got a quick, nice little underneath option. Then we got the skinny post over the top. And again, this is not a route development course. It's not a Trips Head and ebook, so it's not really about specific setups I'm showing you. It's not about the money plays. Again, it's showing you guys the concepts that apply to man to man. It's to show you guys concepts that you can use to make your own plays, make your own schemes. So that's kind of like the point of this. And again, we go into much more detail into developing these routes in the route common development course. Again, the purpose of this course is to just introduce you guys to a bunch of different concepts, not go into too much detail. I don't want to overwhelm anybody. But again, if you want more in-depth detail on like the route combinations and space in the field, again, definitely check out the Trips Tight End ebook when it's out, and the route common development course as well.